Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. That's the Appleton Oak. I'm Mason Quinn. Guys, tonight, boy, it's been a crazy schedule for us, but we found the time to dig in to the House of Dragon series from HBO. We're going to be looking at the first episode, The Heir of the Dragon, and I'm excited for it. So, man, let's see how it goes. I only watched Game of Thrones once all the way through, so a lot of this is going to be pretty new to me.
I got into the Game of Thrones, the original series on HBO late, so I think I got in around season 4 or so, and I binged like all of them, and then I had to watch the rest of them as they came out. I absolutely loved Game of Thrones. I know some people didn't like the way it ended, and it was a little, controversial, I guess, but I really enjoyed that entire show. I think they did a fantastic job with it. A lot of excitement, some crazy special effects with those dragons in the last few seasons, the characters and everything. I loved it. Actually, my work with the Arnold Sports Festival and the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic has afforded me a handful of media pieces with Hafthor Bjornsson, the Mountain, from the original Game of Thrones. So that was neat. Like, yeah, I've done some work with the Mountain. He is as massive in person as he looks on TV. But yeah, so I'm really excited about this one. Like Mason Quinn had said, we've had a crazy recording schedule over the course of the last month, so we knew we were going to get this one on the docket. Just had to find the right time, and that time is now.
All right, guys, let's jump into it without any further ado. Let's go.
As the first century of the Targaryen dynasty came to a close, the health of the old king, Jaehaerys, was failing. In those days, House Targaryen stood at the height of its strength, with 10 adult dragons under it.
10 adults?
Tragedy had claimed both his sons, leaving his succession in doubt. The old king called a great council to choose an heir.
That Prince Viserys Targaryen be made Prince of Dragonstone.
Oh, she's not happy.
The lords instead chose Viserys, my father. Jaehaerys called the Great Council to prevent a war being fought over his succession. The only thing that could tear down the House of the Dragon was itself.
That's usually how it goes.
It's oftentimes how it goes. Power struggles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I remember watching the original Game of Thrones. I'd come home and I would watch Game of Thrones longer than I had been at work that day to binge through it.
To get caught up. It's now the 9th year of King Viserys Targaryen, before the death of the Mad King, which was discussed at length in the Game of Thrones series.
There it is, of course. They're not giving us that shot for no reason. I feel so lucky to be living in a time where computers and technology are so good that there's never been a better time to be a fan of fantasy type movies, because the quality is finally there for us.
Welcome back, Princess. Trust your ride was pleasant.
Try not to look too relieved, sir.
Every time that golden beast brings you back unspoiled, saves my head from a spike.
Syrax is growing quickly.
That's about as fancy of a wagon as you're ever going to see.
Someone has to attend to you.
You will lie in this bed soon enough, Rhaenyra. This discomfort is how we serve the realm.
I'd rather serve as a knight and ride to battle in glory.
We have royal wounds, you and I. The childbed is our battlefield. We must learn to face it with a stiff lip. Now take a bath. You stink of dragon.
You're late. King's cupbearer must not be late. Leaves people wanting for cups.
I was visiting Mother.
On Dragonbank?
I would urge that you not allow this triarchy much latitude in the stepstones, Your Grace. If those shipping lanes should fall, it will beggar our ports.
The Crown has heard your report and takes it under advisement.
That's always the I'm not listening. We'll take it under advisement.
Takes it under advisement.
The tourney will take the better part of a week.
Before the games are over,
My son will be born, and the whole realm will celebrate.
We have no way of predicting the sex of the child.
Of course, no maester's capable of rendering an opinion free of conditions, are they now? There's a boy in the Queen's belly. I know it. And my heir will soon put all of this damnable hand-wringing to rest himself.
Pretty confident.
Yeah, he's making a big bet. Oh, there's the Iron
Oh, the Iron Throne.
Did it always have all those swords around the steps? I don't remember.
I think that's an addition. Oh.
I brought you something. Do you know what it is?
It's Valyrian steel, like Dark Sister.
Turn around.
Not getting the best vibes from this dude.
No, he definitely seems a little creepy.
You and I both own a small piece of our ancestry.
When Princess Nymeria arrived in Dawn, who did she take to husband?
A man.
What was his name?
Lord something.
If you answer with Lord something, Septimalo will be furious.
She's funny when she's furious.
You're worried your father is about to overshadow you with a son.
I only worry for my mother. I hope for my father that he gets a son. As long as I can recall, it's all he's wanted.
You want him to have a son?
I want to fly with you on Dragonback, see the great wonders across the narrow sea, and eat only cake.
I suppose once you've gone out on Dragonback and seen the world, how can you want to come back?
Hard to compare to that.
She took Lord Mors Martell of Dawn to husband and burnt her own fleet off Sunspear to show her people that they were finished running.
What are you doing?
So you remember?
If the Scepter sees this book,
Fuck the Scepter.
Jesus.
It has grown slightly, Your Grace.
Ooh. So you got cancer?
Yes.
We've sent inquiries to the Citadel.
Get that guy some Bactine.
The king has been under heavy stresses preparing for the birth. Bad humors of the mind can adversely affect the body.
That's true.
It's a wound that refuses to heal, Grand Maester. Might I suggest cauterization?
Cauterization would be a wise course of treatment, Your Grace. It will be painful.
Fine. Just do it.
Just heat up an old piece of iron and get it done.
Our son was born wearing Aegon's iron crown, and I heard the sound of thundering hooves, splintering shields, and ringing swords. And I placed our son upon the Iron Throne.
Born wearing a crown. God spare me. This is the last time, Viserys. I've lost one babe in the cradle, had 2 stillbirths, and 2 pregnancies ended well before their term.
Wow. They're rolling the dice on this one.
Crime of every breed has been allowed to thrive. No longer. Beginning tonight, King's Landing will learn to fear the color gold.
King's Landing, okay.
So these guys are just going to go to town on criminals.
Not
Got them all organized and... Oh, wow, we're taking hands off. Okay. Oh, they didn't. Oh, yep, they did. Well, I mean that. Oh, another hand. Ah. Yeah, it feels like Game of Thrones.
That's a little bit much to stomach.
Until they needed a 2-horse cart to haul away the resulting dismemberments when it was done. Prince cannot be allowed to act with this kind of unchecked impunity.
No day in court for those guys.
Nobles from every corner of the realm are right now descending upon King's Landing for my brother's tourney. Do you want them mugged, raped, murdered? You mightn't know this unless you left the safety of the Red Keep, but much of King's Landing is seen by the small folk as lawless and terrifying.
I just hope you don't have to maim half of my city to achieve this.
Time will tell.
You've not been seen in the Vale or at Runestone for quite some time.
My bronze bitch is happier for my absence.
Lady Rhea is your wife.
In the Vale, men are said to fuck sheep instead of women. I can assure you, the sheep are prettier.
Oh, ouch.
I'd gladly give Lady Rhea to you, Lord Hightower, if you're in want of a woman to warm your bed. Your own lady wife passed recently.
Ooh.
Did she not?
Otto, you know how my brother makes sport of provoking you. Must you indulge him? Enforce my laws, But understand, any further performances like last night's will be answered. King's Landing has been in decline since my grandmother passed. In the end, this new city watch might be a good thing.
I mean, I guess if you want to take it back, having an iron fist to do it's probably
Yeah.
the quickest way, but geez.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people are definitely scared. They got the message.
And this great day has been made more auspicious by the news that I am happy to share. Queen Emma has begun her labors.
I'll say it's going to be a boy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lord Stokeworth's daughter is promised to that young Tarly squire.
Lord Massey's son.
They're to be married as soon as he wins his knighthood.
Best get on with it. I heard that Lady Eleanor is hiding a swollen belly beneath her dress.
What a cool shot.
Oh!
Did he hang? Oh, yeah, he went off.
Ugh, it's got to be a cracked rib every
Oh,
time.
man.
Multiple cracked ribs.
I'm told Sir Crispin is common-born son of Lord Dondarrion, but other than that, and the fact that he's just unhorsed both of the Baratheon lads, I really couldn't say.
Okay. So, kind of I think that means like he's kind of a common guy that worked his way up the ranks and he's got some skills.
A common-born who happens to be skilled at jousting.
Of House Targaryen, Prince of the city will now choose his first opponent.
Oh, boy.
Look at that helmet.
Oh, is that badass?
That horse is just down the mane. That armor is awesome.
Daemon Targaryen chooses Sir Gawain Hightower of Old Town, eldest son of the Hand of the King.
Oh, he's taking the Hand of the King's son just to prove a point.
Jesus. Oh.
Let's see how this goes.
The eldest son of the Hand of the King.
Oh, he held on.
Stayed on.
Oh, what kind of dirty trick is that?
I guess I don't know all the rules in jousting, but I don't think that's what you're supposed to do.
No, tripping the horse. Oh, you see his face?
Yeah.
Now, I'm fairly certain I can win these games, Lady Allison. Having your favor would all but assure it.
Yeah.
Good luck, my prince.
I mean, to me, that's kind of the equivalent of like hitting a low blow in boxing or UFC.
Yeah, that's not what it's about.
Oh, is it time?
Yeah, but the looks didn't.
The infant is in breach, Your Grace. All attempts to turn the babe have failed.
Do something for her!
We've given her as much milk of the poppy as we can without risking the child. Your queen is a strong woman. She's fighting with all her might, but it may not be enough.
Emma!
Even the maidens looking on had concern in their face. Oh, you allowed to do that?
Oh, Jesus.
And the day grows ugly.
This is how we should celebrate the birth of our future king, with wanton violence.
It's been 70 years since King Maegor's end. These knights were in summer grass. None have known real war.
Oh, he's wearing him out with that shield.
It's a marvel that war didn't break out at first blood.
Oh! Look at that dude puking.
Yeah, this is Game of Thrones, all right.
I thought jousting was a pseudo-friendly competition.
Well, they did Caesarean in Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
It sometimes becomes necessary for the father to make an impossible choice. To sacrifice one or to lose them both.
Oh.
There is a chance that we can save the child, which involves cutting directly into the womb to free the infant.
There it is. Yep.
You can save the child.
We must either act now or leave it with the gods.
Oh, what a choice. Jeez.
I think an ear.
Fist and Cole will now tilt against Sir Daemon Targaryen.
Okay, so Cole is going against Daemon here. Kind of our two favorites, I guess. God, yeah, that armor is so badass.
Yeah, that's definitely the prince's armor. Oh, look at the dragon scales on the horse's head.
Whoever did the sets and costumes on this, they deserve an Emmy or whatever right off the rip here. He took a hit. He's all right, though.
Oh,
what happened?
Got the prince.
Yes. They're going to bring the babe out now. I love you.
Oh, I was going to say the way he said that.
What is happening?
No, it's all right. It's all right. They're going to bring the babe out.
How will they be?
It's all right.
Please.
Don't be scared. They're going to bring the babe out. It's all right.
No.
I'm making the first incision.
Don't be scared.
Oh, he held on because of the rail. Otherwise, he would have been gone for sure. Oh, he did fall off. Yeah, he's not going to like that.
Oh, Jesus. Now they're going to... Okay, so they go from jousting to a contest of arms. Now, generally, from my understanding, somebody who was of royalty would be trained pretty extensively.
Yeah. Cole's hanging in there, though.
Oh.
Well, it was.
I've got a pretty strong stomach, but I think I'm surprised she hasn't just straight up passed.
Yeah, from all the blood. Oh, look at all the blood loss. Holy shit.
Oh, he got him. I thought the throw on the shield would be kind of in vain, but... Oh.
He's trying to...
Yield.
Is he going to do the old foot stab?
Yeah. You think he's going to turn on him?
Oh, she locked, Sir Kristen.
Princess?
Oh, I was calling him Cole the whole time.
I thought that's what they said his name was.
Congratulations, Your Grace. You have a son.
Oh, he was right.
A new heir, Your Grace. Had you and the Queen chosen a name?
Bale.
It sounded like the baby was choking.
That's what I was thinking. Oh, it didn't make it.
Oh, no.
God, they were so subtle with the way they showed it when the maester was holding it.
Kerim viventos pentas.
Que puedo hacer? Oggi du tiberio tolet, jorra laisa.
Cresidori que son. Dracarys!
Yeah, that's the key.
You know, and she had to be the one to step up and do it. And I got to say, Daemon kind of won me over a little bit there, the way he acted towards her.
A little bit, yeah. You know, he was kind of not shown a very favorable light early.
Yeah, but he kind of came through for her.
I named Daemon Master of Laws, but you said he was a tyrant. As Master of Coin, you said he was a spendthrift that would beggar the realm. Putting Daemon in command of the City Watch was your solution.
A half measure, Your Grace. The truth is, Daemon should be far away from this court.
Daemon is my brother, my blood, and he will have his place at my court.
Let him keep his place at court, Your Grace. But if the gods should visit some further tragedy on you, either by design or accident...
What are you saying? My brother would murder me. Take my crown. Are you?
Oh, he's listening.
Daemon has ambition, yes, but not for the throne. He lacks the patience for it.
The gods have yet to make a man who lacks the patience for absolute power, Your Grace.
What a line. Do you think Daemon wants the crown?
Clearly.
Rhaenys was the only child of Jaehaerys' eldest son. She had a strong claim at the Great Council, and she already has a male
Just
heir.
moments ago, you announced your support for Daemon.
If we cannot agree on an heir, then how can we
My
expect
wife and son are dead! I will not sit here and suffer crows that come to feast on their corpses!
Oh.
How is his grace?
Very low, which is why I sent for you. I thought you might go to him, offer him comfort.
In his chambers?
What's he
I
thinking?
wouldn't know what to say.
He'll be glad of a visitor. You might wear one of your mother's dresses.
Dude.
Seem real sketchy to you?
Yeah, like he's sending his own daughter in there to be with the king in one of her mom's dresses.
Yeah, it all seems real sketchy.
I thought I might come and look in on you, Your Grace. I brought a book.
It's very kind, thank you.
Oh, he's been doing some sculpting there.
When my mother died, people only ever spoke to me in riddles. All I wanted was for someone to say that they were sorry for what happened to me. I'm very sorry, Your Grace.
The gods give just as the gods take away.
He toasted Prince Balon
To the king's son.
styling him the heir for a day.
Ooh, that's not going to go over well.
You will address me as Your Grace, or I will have my Kingsguard cut out your tongue. The heir for a day. Did you say it?
We must all mourn in our own way, Your Grace.
My family has just been destroyed. But instead of being by my side or Rhaenyra's, you chose to celebrate your own rise! Laughing with your whores and your leg spittles! I have decided to name a new heir.
I'm your heir.
Not anymore. You are to return to Runestone and your lady wife at once.
Oh, sending him away.
Your Grace.
A lot of tension in this moment right
Yeah. Well, you're sitting on a throne made of swords.
Yeah, a little bit of a sharp edge there.
When you look at the dragons, what do you see?
You haven't spoken a word to me since Mother's funeral. And now you've seen your Kingsguard down.
Answer me. It's important.
Maybe he's testing her.
I suppose I see us.
Tell me.
Everyone says Targaryens are closer to gods than to men, but they say that because of our dragons. Without them, we're just like everyone else.
The idea that we control the dragons is an illusion. They're a power man should never have trifled with. If we don't mind our own histories, it will do the same to us. Targaryen must understand this to be king or queen.
And there you have it.
I have wasted the years since you were born, wanting for a son.
All right.
A solid apology there.
Corlys Velaryon, Lord of the Tides and Master of Driftmark, promised to be faithful to King Viserys and his named heir, Princess Rhaenyra. I pledge fealty to them and shall defend them against all enemies.
Okay, so they're getting everybody to pledge their
allegiance to her.
Their allegiance and their loyalties to her.
Lord Hobart Hightower, Beacon of the South, Defender of the Citadel, promised to be faithful to King Viserys and his named heir, the Princess Rhaenyra. I pledge fealty to...
She's having second thoughts because she was supposed to be the queen.
Yeah,
but they didn't want a woman at the time.
Yep, and now she's getting it.
They tell us that Aegon looked across the Blackwater from Dragonstone, saw a rich land ripe for the capture. But ambition alone is not what drove him to conquest. It was a dream. Just as Daenerys foresaw the end of Valyria, Aegon foresaw the end of the world of men. 'Tis to begin with a terrible winter, gusting out of the distant
Winter's coming. So he knew about it already in a vision.
And if the world of men is to survive, a Targaryen must be seated on the Iron Throne. A king or queen, strong enough to unite the realm against the cold and the dark.
Definitely tying back to the original series.
100%.
Rhaenyra Targaryen, Princess of Dragonstone and heir to the Iron Throne.
All right, here we go. There's the new heir. Oh, there's the music. Oh, there we go, Oak. All right.
Oh,
we are off to a pretty hot start there. And, you know, right away, what I really like about this is the characters are as far from being one-dimensional as you can imagine. Like, you know, initially we were shown Daemon Targaryen as, you know, real unscrupulous and kind of out for his own means, but then he did have that bit of kind of a tender moment with Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was trying to remember her name, and I kept looking at it, but Rhaenyra or whatever. He had that moment with her that was real kind of tender and being like, look, you've got to be there. You have to do your job. So that was really interesting just to see the depth of the characters. I mean, the acting is top notch. I mean, I feel like I'm there when I'm watching this, and I'm in, you know, the castle or the fields where they're jousting, or the arena rather, and it's just outstanding. The story really has me sucked in. We kind of see a lot of different sides. It's a little bit hard for me to remember all the names, but I did remember Stark of Winterfell. That one jumped out at me. So, you know, they didn't put that in there for no reason. And then, you know, little did we know that somebody had a vision of winter coming years and years ago before it even happened. So, you know, generations really, because I don't know what the timeline is with the Targaryens, and when we get caught up to Game of Thrones, I'm not sure how many generations of people that is, but it's really cool the way they're tying it in. And, you know, even if you haven't watched the original Game of Thrones, I think you could very easily jump into this, be entertained, and be sucked in, and be just ready to go for the rest of the season. Outstanding.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a solid start. Now, online we've seen, you know, being that the Rings of Power and in this show started, you know, pretty close to the same time.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of people saying, well, you know, the first, you know, House of Dragons was so much better than the Rings of Power. Look, the first thing I'm going to say is I don't want to get into this game of comparing these two, because they are completely different. If you watched The Lord of the Rings and then The Hobbits, they were family-ish friendly stories about these journeys and dark and good, you know, wrong and right. And as we get into Rings of Power, it's still very much that. Look, Game of Thrones was sex and violence and, you know, one family and house trying to take control of the next one. It was dragons roasting entire cities. It was brutality. There was all sorts of stuff. So just right off the bat, I will say this just to get it out of the way. I do think this was a much better first episode than Rings of Power, but let's not get into comparing these because they are drastically different stories.
I'm sure that argument's being had all over the internet.
And I didn't want to completely ignore it because I've seen it as well. Oh, you know, House of Dragons was so much better than Rings. Look, these are two completely different stories, as we saw. There's certain scenes that definitely not making the YouTube cut. And as reactors, I gotta be honest, I'm like, I don't know.
And it's kind of weird, like we're just sitting here watching it.
Like for the people on Patreon, apologies for the awkward silence. I'm not sure as reactors what we're supposed to do during the party scenes. Other than just like, it's such a weird thing to react to. But two very different stories. But I thought it was good. Again, I'm in the same boat as Quinn. I only watched the original Game of Thrones once. So House Targaryen, obviously I remember Baratheon, Stark. Of course, we know in Game of Thrones, she had the 3 dragon eggs that I think everybody thought were, you know, petrified, that were never going to hatch, which of course turned into the 3 dragons. Interesting that they said they had 10. And I think that like throws it in your face because we know how much damage those dragons did in the first one, or rather in the original series, not the first one. But to think they had 10, you know, this girl's riding them at a very young age. I mean, it's crazy. They got right into the violence with the jousting tournament.
Oh, it was crazy.
We had the partying. I think we'll just call it partying from now on. Partying, a lot of partying, which was interesting. Just kind of showed the mindset of the times, you know. And that's something that, is portrayed a lot. I remember watching the TV series Spartacus.
Oh, yeah.
Which there was a lot of partying in Spartacus, but it was reflective of the Roman times.
Yeah.
So that was in there. Some really heavy stuff with the Queen and losing the son. So I thought this was a great kickoff. I loved at the end, he talked about winter is coming. He talked about, brought up, essentially was bringing up the White Walkers, talking about how everybody was going to have to get together. And that's very much what happened in Game of Thrones. Like, you have all these different cities, and they said, look, guys, we need to all come together to battle these White Walkers.
And they were all so reluctant. They had to. Oh, we'll be safe over here. We'll be safe over here.
Nobody's safe. So I thought this was a really solid first episode. I wish I had the time to go back and watch the entire Game of Thrones. I went
at least some kind of catch up.
I went back and rewatched every Potter movie after Potter, but that was 8 movies. I went back and rewatched those. I just with my full-time work, my little guy, the other reactions we're doing, I didn't have time to go back and watch them again. So a lot of this is going to be a refresher for both of us. But some of that stuff is pretty easy to remember and pops right into your head, like, oh yeah, that was from the original. But I love this one. Can't wait to see the next episodes. They started off hot, and I think that trend is going to continue because that's what this series is all about.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're going to try to bang these out as fast as we can. So for the Appleton Oak, I'm Mason Quinn. This has been Bad Medicine. We're going to see you on the next House of Dragon. Somebody call. Wait, shit. Is Dave recording up there?
Yeah, it's red.
Okay, it is recording. I had to look and see the numbers. The numbers are actually ticking.
1, 2, yep.
And then sound is on. Okay.
Mic
All
check.
right.